Hi, everybody. Coming to you from my new office. So, this is exciting because here I am finally going live from my new location. Jacob and I moved to Highland Park and we're really excited to be here. Yeah, I did not go live last week. I was way too overwhelmed. And I felt like a lot was going on, and that going live was one thing that I took off my plate that was honestly the best decision for my mental health. So today we're talking about stress and anxiety as a small business owner. Um, and I chose this topic because one, it comes up so often with my clients. My private clients, especially because we work together, we really have a long term relationship. And with this long term relationship, I see them throughout various parts of their lives, from when things are going really well to when things are really incredibly overwhelming. And they just feel like they don't know where to spend their time and that they're not themselves. So that comes up a lot with my private clients. Outside of that, so in addition to that, I chose this topic because of my own experience. I have had a lot going on over the last couple of years. And I launched my coaching business for interior designers 2 years ago. So, May of 2022 is when I went all in on creating my coaching business all around interior designers. And you have had if you've been with me since then, you've had a front row seat to all that has gone on really in my life since then. And it's been a lot. I'll come back to it in a moment. And then the third reason why I chose this topic is because I mentioned, it comes up a lot with my clients, but also the time of year. If you're watching this, you're a small business owner, you're likely running an interior design business, and about 90% of my audience slash client base are moms. And it is back to school time. And if you have more than one kid, that's even more challenging. So, all of that said, I wanted to go live on this topic, kind of taking a step back, going back to what I was saying about my own life. Is I've had a lot of stress and anxiety that I have been managing behind the scenes over the last couple of years. Running a business is stressful enough. And when you add on there life events that are incredibly challenging, and honestly, life events that are ordinary but are incredibly challenging, it becomes really challenging to manage. It becomes a struggle really to manage. Um, so these past couple of years, I mentioned May of 2022, I niched down with designers. My business was solely focused on interior designers and coaching them and helping you create more profit and better processes, better boundaries, better client management skills in your business. And shortly then after, my mom got very sick. Shortly around that time, Jacob and I got engaged. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, shortly thereafter, my mom passed away of, being sick. And during the time I was grieving, Rebel tore his ACL. Our dog, tore his ACL. And that is if anybody's ever gone through it, it's actually a really, really anxiety inducing experience from the parent of helping your dog recover. It's a lot of work. So, anyways, anxiety was sky high then. We went out of town for a month for our wedding. We had our wedding in Greece. We and we're gone for basically an entire month. And then, yes, life was okay and normal. Normal. I was still grieving. Normal for a couple of months. February of this year, Rebel fell very sick. And for the last 6 months, we did every single thing that we could to try to figure out what was going on. But every other day, it felt like Rebel was very sick. I mean, there were many moments where I was going live and he was underneath my desk, like, and I didn't know if he was going to throw up while I was on my live. And I'm a dog mom. I'm not a mom, so I can't even imagine what you all have on your plate. So, although I think dog moms are moms too, but it's different. Um, okay, so there's that, and then I ran a charity event 2 weeks ago, and now we moved. So about 10 days ago, we moved. And the day we moved, Rebel tore his other ACL. And you all, I can't even tell you how overwhelming it all very much felt. So over these, I shared this. I walk you through this because I want to share with you, like, this, you do have a front row seat to what has been going on in my world, in my life, because I am me. I think there are a lot of business owners out there who don't really show, and they're afraid to showcase what's going on behind the scenes. I'm not, you don't have to show everything, but I am very honest about what's going on in our life, in our world, and the things that I do want to let you in on. So anyways, on top of all of that, one more thing. So I deal with, I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but vertigo a little too often for it to be like okay, appropriate, or anything like that. So on top of all of this, and vertigo is often sometimes it's induced from stress. So it's like, oh my God, how do I manage all of this? How, if I am stressed and feeling my emotions and feeling and trying to manage all the things, and then that causes me to have vertigo, where I literally get the spins for like days on end and then feel wonky for like at least a month. It is just, I mean, I've had to learn how to manage all of this. So I today want to talk about how I manage stress and anxiety as a business owner, because you cannot coast the way that a corporate employee could. I think about it all the time, how when I was dealt challenges in the corporate world, how I could just walk into my office, close the door, and feel my feelings. I could have a week straight where I get done what I need to get done, but no more than that. And it was fine. I still got my same beautiful paycheck, and I was still able to take care of bills just fine. And I didn't have the added stress or financial pressure of clients, of needing to make money to pay bills. And I think about it a lot because, I mean, I just gave you a snippet of what my last 2 years have looked like for me. If you don't think during that time I thought, man, it would be so much easier to just quit running a business and go work for someone else, you're crazy. Of course, I thought about it, but I never threw in the towel, ever, because it's not what I really deeply wanted and what's best for me. And I do think that is kind of a decision that you need to know and make, because then even when your brain goes to that, you're not able to like be resentful about it. You're able to be very comfortable with your choice of, I chose to be a business owner. I am choosing to continue to be a business owner and to manage all of this. Okay, so here's what I want to walk through today. A couple of things, because again, I think I've managed this pretty well. If I really am being honest, I wanted to go live on this topic because even though, like, just last week I think is a really good example, because I felt very stressed and very overwhelmed after our move, but also just from all of the events over the last couple of years, I feel like I have every reason to quit working, quit this business, go work for corporate and get paid some beautiful paycheck that feels really good and that's consistent, or just get in bed and never get out of bed. I have every reason to do all of those things with all I feel like that I have encountered over the last couple of years. But I haven't done that because I'm stronger than that and I'm able to manage my stress and anxiety in a way that allows me to be able to do both. And that's why I want to go live on this. That's why I want to walk you through what I do to manage stress and anxiety as a small business owner, because I do feel that I've done this fairly well over the last couple of years because a lot of heavy stuff has been on me over the last few years. So, I actually want to start by talking about how stress and anxiety are caused. Stress and anxiety are caused, you would think, by a circumstance, by something taking place. So, I moved, therefore, I am stressed and I am anxious. So, what's actually happening in the meantime is it's not the circumstance that causes the stress and anxiety, it's your thoughts about the circumstance. And I think it's really, really beneficial to note that. I want you to note that it's not the circumstance, it's your thoughts about the circumstance that really create stress and anxiety. Every circumstance is neutral. Even the really awful things are still fairly neutral. It's just your thoughts about it that cause the extra additional stress and anxiety on you. And there are some circumstances that are heavier than others. I mean, my gosh, my mom's cancer diagnosis, there's nothing like that's the heaviest that you can get. Somebody passing away, it's the heaviest you can get. Moving from one town to another town and having all of your shit everywhere and boxes everywhere and not knowing where things are and nothing fits the way that you were hoping it would. And so you have to figure out your new furniture and what furniture you're getting rid of. That's a much lighter circumstance. But when it feels heavy is when your thoughts are, oh my God, this is so overwhelming. Oh my goodness, everything is everywhere and I don't know what to do. Oh my gosh, I have so much on my plate. I have no idea how I'm going to handle all of this. When you have thoughts placed on those circumstances, those thoughts are what determine how you feel, and that is what brings the stress and anxiety. Why am I walking you through this? Because I want you to be aware that we have control over what we think and believe, and we don't have control over circumstances. So if we have control over what we think and believe, and what our circumstance is a little bit lighter, then we're able to manage our minds a lot better as we go about handling whatever is going on in our businesses, whatever is going on in our lives. So what I'm going to walk through today in terms of kind of how I manage this, what my process looks like, is really going to be on the lighter version of circumstances that really just throw off your routine and make you feel like kind of this overwhelm of the analysis paralysis, how I'm going to get all of this done. Honestly, I've thought about it. Again, last year I had a lot of sad things happen. I'm like, I believe I'll talk about that another day, maybe on another podcast or something like that. But today is really for like when you are knocked off your routine, when you have overcommitted yourself, when you have a lot of clients that are reaching out to you, or a lot of project due dates that are just ending at all kind of landing at the same time period where you are up to your eyeballs in work. That's what we're going to be talking about today as I walk you through how I manage stress and anxiety. So I want to give you some I'm going to say a 5-step process for how to manage stress and anxiety and how I manage it as a small business owner. And I'm really going to walk you through kind of what I did for myself last week on Monday after moving on Friday when I was up to my eyeballs in boxes. I had been out of not working for took a couple days out of the business the week before. I have multiple VIP days that I'm prepping right now for my clients. I have, solo client sessions, my private client sessions. I'm currently creating a business school 2.0, so I'm working on that. I just had a lot going on, and then Rebel went and tore his ACL. And I, on Monday morning, was at a vet learning that. So Monday was a really overwhelming day for me. And it was a day where I usually prep my lives. I prepped this yesterday. And I was not at my desk prepping my live. I was at the vet. And when I got back from the vet, I did not get to work right away. I tried and I was like, this is not happening. Now here I am 1 week later, and I feel really good about all the decisions I made and all the things that I did and all the things that I didn't do. So that's why I'm walking you through this. So step one, when you have a lot going on, is to grab a pen and paper and brain dump all of the things that are on your plate. Now you might say, Jeannie, I already have all this. I have this in Asana, or I have this in Trello, or I have this in whatever project management app, or I have this on 6 different to-do lists. Like you pull up look at all these to-do lists I have. Look at all these checklists I have. I get it. But what I want you to do is have a clean pen and paper and also a clean time frame. Maybe look at the week. I usually do that. I'll kind of look at the week and then I look at the day, or sometimes vice versa, depending on what I need that day. So you might say, I just want to know what I need to focus on today versus this week. Either way, grab a pen and paper, choose your time frame, day, week, and jot down all the things that you need to do that are on your plate. Jot down your to-do list. So once you have everything on paper, you are able, I think that alone reduces the overwhelm. You may think it won't because you're going to be able to visualize all the things you have to do, but at least it's no longer floating around up here. You have it in one clean place. And again, I don't want you to be thinking beyond a week. I really don't. I want you to think either one day or 1 week. So get all of those on paper. The next step to ease your anxiety and to ease your stress, this is what I do, is I then prioritize. I posted about this last week, and I also put this in my newsletter last week too. You take your to-do list and you ask yourself, what needs to get done? What needs to happen today? What needs to happen this week? What doesn't need to happen? And what happens if I don't do those things? We are always telling ourselves every single thing needs to get done. If this doesn't get done, and your brain goes straight to the worst case scenario. And I know that because that's me. That is how I have operated. I literally last week was like, I need to prep my live. I need to go live. I go live every Tuesday. I then post that to my blog. I then email that out on Thursday to my newsletter, my email newsletter. If I don't do that, then I'll have nothing to email. Is that true? If I don't go live, I have nothing to email? No, that's not true. I could email them something else. Do I have to email them? Are people waiting for my email? They know it comes, probably. They probably picked up on that every Thursday they get an email from me. But do they, if they don't hear from me, am I going to lose their trust? Am I going to lose their engagement? are they no longer going to be interested in being a part of my community? Probably not. Probably not. So, when you ask yourselves these questions, it allows you to put yourself back in control and not let the fear based part of you run your decisions. Because the fear based part of you, when that person is making decisions, when part of your brain is making decisions, that's when you do things you don't want to do. That's when you do things half assed. That's when you do things half heartedly. That's when you do things resentfully. I am telling you, you all, I made the decision not to go live, and it was the best decision because I know if I went live last week, you would not have seen a good part of me. And not a lot. Like, no, that's not a part of who I am. It's not a part of my brand. You would have seen a very like forced part of me, someone who wasn't connecting with the words that she was saying, and someone who felt like she had to go live versus the person who wants to, and the person who's calm and put together and slept well the night before and washed their face and is wearing something that, is clean versus probably last week I would have been I like literally wore the same thing for 3 days because I didn't know where my clothes were. I packed different underwear. I had one backpack where I was like, I know what's in this backpack, but for 3 days I wore the same workout shorts and the same workout top until I finally like found my clothes and unpacked my clothes. And even then I still have so many clothes that are not unpacked. Okay. So, step 2 is prioritize. Prioritize what matters to you, what needs to get done, and be really honest about it. Now, for me last week, what were the things that needed to get done? I listened to my intuition, and the things that needed to get done were like go for a walk, sit outside in the sun, unpack a couple bins. We use bins, not boxes, for our moving. So, like, unpack a couple of bins. Find out where your, kitchenware is. Go grocery shopping so you can fuel yourself in a way that feels good versus continuing to get, like, takeout. Those are what came up for me. Now, you may argue, one may argue, the fear based part of my brain could argue, those aren't things I need to get done. What needs to get done is you need to prep for your live. And that's just not true. I want you to get really good at listening to yourself and the higher version of yourself, the more evolved version of yourself, and really ask yourself what needs to get done, what doesn't. Whatever doesn't need to get done, defer it, delete it, or delegate it. Delegate it to your significant other, delegate it to your roommate, to a parent, to anybody that you could delegate something to. If it's necessary, if it's something that does need to get done, but you don't need to do it. Defer things that are not necessary. So I would say, or delete. So like for me, you could say I deleted my live last week, or you could say I deferred my live last week. What's really funny to me is I was not even anticipating emailing anybody anything on Thursday, but I did because I took care of myself over the course of Monday and Tuesday. And Wednesday, I sat down right here and I said, I want to write something to my email newsletter list. So step 2 is prioritize, but get really clear on what the first things are that do need to get done that will allow you to be your best you. And do not judge yourself for those answers. Again, if that answer is go for a walk, do not judge yourself and tell yourself that that's not necessary. Go for a walk and let yourself know that that is exactly what you need. Step Three is take what you need to get done and break it into smaller steps. When we start identifying the things that need to get done, we then can take it and break it down. So, last week, Monday, my things were bins are everywhere and they need to be unpacked. I need to start putting my clothes away. I need to start filling this like one little dresser with the essentials of what I'm going to be wearing over the next couple weeks, hang stuff in closet. So when your brain only has like, clean out all the bins, clean out all the boxes, it feels heavy. So instead, jot down all of the little steps that need to take place that will allow you to get on top of it and allow you to take small steps to complete it. So break it into smaller steps. What are the steps required to make it happen? Write them all down. So again, last week that may look like unpack kitchen boxes, put away, figure out which drawers everything is going to go into, toss laundry in, toss dirty laundry in the washing machine. Make sure, that you switch over ComEd. It's like all of these little things that do come up in moving that feel really overwhelming, but when you have them jotted down, you're able to move forward, which is my next piece of advice and the next thing that I do, and that is I take action. The single best way to beat your overwhelm is to take action. The single best way to magnify your overwhelm is to avoid all that you need to do. But what do we all do when we're overwhelmed? We avoid. Why do we avoid? Because we're not taking these steps, literally every step that I just shared with you, to get clear on what you need to be doing in a way that allows you to feel you can manageably check it off your list. So nothing beats overwhelm like taking action. So I highly, highly recommend, once you have all of the next little baby steps that you jot down, you've created a little to-do list for yourself that is much more manageable, and start acting on it. Now, your brain may not want to start acting on it, and that's when it becomes dramatic. Oh my God, this is so much. Oh my gosh, you're never going to get this done. And you want to manage your brain. You want to manage it. Your brain is a drama queen. It is going to feed you the most dramatic thoughts possible because it doesn't want you to be taking action, actually. Because taking action is also very, the thought of it is kind of overwhelming. What it wants to do is be comfortable. It wants to just sit on the couch. It wants to scroll. It wants to go back to bed. It wants to do all of those things. But you've got to override that part of your brain and be able to take action. But I want you to pay attention to what your brain is telling you. Pay attention to what you're telling yourself. So a lot of times our brains will say, I have to do all of this today. And I want you to change that thought, because that's a thought, it's not a fact, to not all of this actually has to get done today. So what are the 3 that would be most important to get done today? Your brain is going to go straight to, I am never going to get out of this. I'm never going to be able to make progress on this. Is that true? I don't think it is. I want you to switch that to, I will be making progress on this. I am making progress on this. And all of this that feels heavy right now is also temporary. We've been here before and we're going to get through this. I want you to switch, I am so stressed, to everything has a way of working itself out. I'm going to do what I need to do today. I'm going to do what I need to do this week. I'm going to take action. I'm going to take the next steps. But I also know that thus far in my life, every single thing that has needed to get done has gotten done. And this is not going to be any different. Two things that I want to share with you that help as you are managing a lot of overwhelm. Number one, I have a strong mental practice. I'm a life coach. I better. I have learned how to manage my mind in this way. As I share with you kind of these new thoughts and new things to, new thoughts to think, new beliefs to adopt, new ways of looking at things, it may initially be confusing to you, or it just might be new for you. The more you do this, the better you will get at it. So if this is your first time kind of learning how to manage your mind and overriding the negative and fear-based thoughts, amazing. You will get better at it. Do not give up on it. But I have a very strong mental practice, which has gotten me, and I've been handed a lot of adversity in my life. So now I feel like when like the little obstacles come, I'm like, that's a little obstacle. Like last week, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not myself. I don't need to go online. I don't need to prep a live. I don't need to go live. But I also know, I see that I will be okay in a week. I know I'm going to be okay in 1 week. I just know that this week right now is challenging. I also have an empty, like this is my new office. It's empty. My brain wants to go straight to, oh, you've got to furnish this office. What do spend time on this, spend time on this. And you all might appreciate that. And that might be exactly what you do first. I have other things I need to do first. I have other priorities. I have other places to spend money. I have other places to spend time, and I will be furnishing my office at some point. Priority number one in this house is getting probably a dresser, so we have somewhere to put our clothes. Number two, they're probably equal priorities, is a kitchen table and some chairs so that we have somewhere to sit that's not the couch or not the counter. Anyways, where was I going with that? Strong mental practice. Get ahead of what you are thinking and believing and pay attention to it and make sure that you are choosing your thoughts and beliefs in a way that helps you throughout the week, not that uses it against you. Second thing that helps is I really have amazing boundaries. I have amazing boundaries set up in my business. Amazing. It's something I teach on. It's something that I educate on. It's something that my clients even notice as they work with me. But I don't have clients. Well, actually, I do. I have, my private clients get access to me via Voxer, so they are contacting me around the clock. But my boundaries are that they will hear back from me within 24 to 48 hours. So I don't feel like when I get a Voxer notification that I need to drop everything and get back to my client immediately. I don't. I have 24 to 48 hours. If I'm not in a good headspace or if I'm doing something else, that is not my time to drop everything and get back to my client. I'm going to wait until I'm in a better headspace or a better environmental space for me to get back to them. So I don't have, but they're not texting me, they're not calling me. I have funneled them all into one app that allows me to be able to manage that really well. I also have days that I am on with my clients and days where I'm not on with my clients. So if those days needed to be moved, which I very, very rarely move, my private clients know, but if I do need to move them, they understand that because it's so rare that like it would be an absolute must if I had to move a client session. But I have very clear days that I'm out of office, and those days are not days that I feel pressure at all to be online or in front of a client, even if a client asks. The answer is no if it doesn't work for me. But my boundaries, they protect my time, they protect my energy, they protect my sanity. And so if that is something that you feel adds extra stress to you, clients contacting you, calling you, texting you, emailing you, asking for you to get back to them, feeling pressure to get back to them, head to the link in my bio and snag my Bulletproof Boundaries guide. I walk through all the boundaries, all the beginner boundaries that I recommend that you add to your process, to your contract, your onboarding, so that you can protect your time and your energy and your sanity. Because that stuff really, really helps when life throws you lemons. When you look at your week and you're like, this is a lemon of a week, boundaries are essential and they're very challenging to put into place when you need them. You've got to put them into place before you need them. So head to link my bio. I even break down exactly where and when you should be communicating these boundaries. You'll see it all. It's a phenomenal guide. So head to link my bio to snag that, or just comment boundaries or DM me boundaries and I'll be able to get that to you. But I wanted to walk you through that to share like how I manage stress and anxiety as a small business owner. I also keep showing up. I keep showing up in my business, but I show up from a very genuine and very authentic place. And I'm very gentle with myself on the days in which I know it's best not to show up. So it is this fine balance between continuing to work and continuing to get the job done and continuing to put yourself out there, but also taking exactly what you need when you need it, which just might be taking your foot off the gas and taking a few days away from a business. I hope this was helpful for you. If any of this is something that you feel you're struggling with and you need more personalized support in, I offer one-on-one clarity sessions. They're 45-minute private sessions where you and I can connect about whatever's going on in your world, and I can coach you through it. I can offer guidance, advice, whatever you're looking for, mentorship. So feel free, that link is also at my bio, to feel free to schedule something. I don't know if I have slots available this week. You'll have to check. But that is a way that I can offer additional value to you and be able to meet you where you are today. Okay, that's what I have for you this week. I hope that this was helpful. Be gentle on yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. Take a breather. We are not doctors. We are not heart surgeons. We are not brain surgeons. We are not oncologists. And thank goodness, because we have opportunities then to say, hey, I could take my foot off the gas a little bit here and there, and nobody is going to die because of it. And I want you to do that. I want you to take your foot off the gas when you need to. Okay, I'll see you all next week on Tuesday. Same time, same place. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.